Okay, hey you guys, thanks for hopping on to our Sunday night Zoom. I have started recording these because a lot of people have been requesting them. So if you're watching the playback, thanks for watching. I want to give you guys some updates first. And then I did ask Beth to share a little bit about her open house she did this weekend. She had great results. It was the first time she'd ever done it. And then I thought we'd talk through a couple points from the Power of Five John Maxwell book. So Kristen is doing that book club, but I know we're all busy and some of you probably don't watch the videos. I just caught up on the videos today when I was driving because I'd had an hour drive to my party. And so I'm like, okay, I need to maybe do these for my own people because I really wasn't even watching them. Don't tell her. Don't tell her. Okay, well, updates already. As you guys know, Beth is a believer and still selling and rocking and roll away from that. So I sent out the star update today on Sunday the 20th. So, and I have sent you guys postcards too. So you'll probably be getting those in the mail. But remember, when you do 600 wholesale in 1 month, you become a believer and you earn your Be Inspired jewelry from Mary Kay. This month is a beautiful bracelet. It's so pretty. And then also remember, when you're a grand believer with 1,000 wholesale in for the month, this month specifically, you're going to get all the new winter products free from me. And so I get to order them on like the 27th or something, so even earlier. And I got my buzz kit, and y'all, the new products are so good. So that's a way you can earn them free from me. When you do 1,000 wholesale every month, that prize or experience is different each month. So sometimes with the people who do 1,000, we'll do like a dessert dinner or like something fun, just me and you. And then this month, I'm just doing the free products because they're new and you want them early, and I know you do. So that changes. Our goal is 10 new consultants for the month. So far we have 0, but I have people that are waiting for payday. I have people that we've been following up with, and with the signing bonus, you guys, we got to get on this. So our word is growth. We know we got to grow our unit. We know we're growing to be our personal best so that our unit can be the best. And that's actually what we're talking about tonight too, is growth. But I am 1,000% focused on building our unit. So right now we have 39, and I don't know, for whatever reason, we cannot get over the 50 hump. So I need you guys to just band with me and promise me that you're going to do whatever it takes to help us get over this 50. And it's like really for as long as I can remember. When we get to 50 is when we finished our cruise both times. And then for whatever reason, the real reason is probably because I stopped working. But we cannot get over the 50. So we need just like Scouts honor, everybody, we're going to share because we're not far away. It'd be like, okay, if 10 people added 1 person, if Danielle added 5 and we added, had 5 people become seniors, we could get over that hump. But I'm sharing that kind of for accountability and kind of to let you guys know that that's like, for whatever reason, over the last 2 years, been our hurdle is getting over that 50 mark. And I know that's what's holding us back. And so we got to do it. We got to do it. And then our goal is 9,000 wholesale. Currently, we have a little bit over 2,000 in, so we're like 6,900 away. But I know so many of you guys are going to be finishing your believer. When we have 10 believers, that will be done. Some of you are going to get to 1,000. Hey, Wendy. I personally got to get to 1,200. So, I mean, I think the wholesale will come, but my goal is recruiting. We got to grow. We got to grow. We got to grow. And that's going to make y'all more money. You know that. That's like where our heart is. So, PCP, all 3 of you did PCP. Of course you did. So yay for that. Beth, Brandy, Sydney, Becky, Chelsea, Kelly, Sadie, Wendy, and Jennifer, and myself. So congratulations. You guys will get to order all the new products early next month. But it's going to be so good. I'm excited for you guys to see the winter stuff. So Beth, if you would take it away, share with us what you loved and learned about your holiday open house.
Okay. Actually, it was way bigger of a success than what I was anticipating. I just knew nobody was going to show up, but that would have been okay. But doing the 3 different days at 3 different times, I had people show up every day. And even though today I didn't have somebody show up, I had 2 people that couldn't come. They actually called in during those hours of the open house to to do orders. So I thought that that was really neat. A lot of things that I learned is that it is the strongest thing that you can do to make an open house successful is flood your information. Just keep reminding, send a postcard, send a text. If it's a business or somewhere, just go by and say hi to them. Just whatever you can do to keep that kind of fresh in their mind, but don't helicopter them. And what I did, one of the biggest things that I did is I carried the postcards that I sent out to people. I made a separate batch where they had something to the side where you would actually put the address and stuff. I put on there, hope to see you, and just kind of like a little word invitation. And if you have any, questions, call. And I would just give them out to random people whenever God opened the door for me to do that. I would just hand them out. And one of the ladies that I had given one of the cards to wasn't able to come, but she had got on my website and she called in an order for the brush cleaner. So I was tickled to death, and I made a new friend there, and I really don't even know her yet. So, and one of the hardest things to me was that making sure that everything looked good, looked presentable, and I wanted it to make it an easy flow through my house for them to see and not be overwhelmed. And so I had to sit down and basically I planned out each table exactly what was going to be on it, how it was going to look. And that was the sitting down and the planning. That was one of the hardest things or the most tedious things that I did. And then putting it together and everything, the rest of it was just fun. So,
Did you guys
but
watch
it was
this
just
video that I posted through her house? Did you see it? Yeah. So
me.
you'll have to go
Oh,
back and
Yeah.
watch. It was freaking awesome. It was so awesome. I walked in this house, I was like I have done multiple open houses and all of mine put together. I'm not even just saying this, you guys. You guys know I don't like talk fluff, okay? All of my open houses put together were like dog poop compared to the way Beth had hers set up. I'm not lying. It was so beautiful, so easily coordinated, so not overwhelming, like she said. It was very well executed.
thank you.
And how much did
And
you sell?
I ended up for the whole weekend. I ended up selling $430.77. And I had a couple of people, like I said, I had a couple of people call in, and there was only one, two, three. There was only like 7 people that actually showed up. And then I had 3 people calling orders.
Okay, so 7 people show up.
And I was so pleased, and I give God all the glory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I love, and I've told Beth this in person, but I love that you went. Can you hear me, Beth? I think her internet is freaking out.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
I can now.
okay.
Yeah, I think it is.
And I told Beth this in person, but her stepping out, she didn't even talk to me about doing this. She literally called me and was like, hey, I'm doing an open house this weekend. If you want to come, you can, And so I love that you just ran with it. You got the idea. You figured out how you were going to execute it. And you really use that as a way for the Lord to get you in front of new people. And the fact that you yourself decided to take the invitations with you, decided to give them out, all that was between you and the Lord, and he definitely blessed that. And it was just like you said, whether people showed up or not, he made you more confident, and it was a win anyway because you were growing through the situation. Even if you would have sold nothing, I know you still would have been on cloud 9 because you know that you followed through and you did it. And that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And
I would have, because I knew. Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that, yeah, you're exactly right. Because the effort, God laid it on my heart, and he kind of watched me through it and gave me ideas.
Yeah. Hers keeps freezing. Wendy or Sadie, do you have any questions for her about the open house?
As lining them on the table, bless my effort and breathe on this. And he did. He went way beyond what I thought he would do. He showed up and showed up.
Yeah, for sure he did.
Um, I just wanted to say that it was beautiful. I saw it and it was awesome. And I sent you, Beth, a message, private message, saying that I was not sure if I was going to be able to make it, but that I was praying for you. And
Yes.
I was, since Friday, I was like praying that it was going to be good for you too. Um, I um, I made a design for an invitation. It's kind of quick because these months are just crazy, I guess. I don't know why, but they're super crazy. We have so many birthdays in our family. We have so many anniversaries, like from October to December. It's like every weekend we have something going on. And so I just thought I should do something quickly. So mine is not going to be that planned. And definitely my house is super small. It is not going to be as cute as yours. But I'm excited to do it no matter what, just to say, I mean, like, there has to be a first time. You know, it's
Yes.
going to be a learning time for me. And
Hmm.
and I feel like maybe I have a bad, how do you say, um, I'm thinking that nobody's going to come either. I don't know. I just, maybe it's a negative thought. Sorry, but I don't know. I'm just like, I'm still gonna do it though, and I'm still gonna reach out to people. But I'm like, I don't know if people are gonna come. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. And my first open house, literally nobody came. So if nobody comes, call me because I'll know exactly how that feels. But
Okay.
when you're expecting nobody to come and one person comes, even if she doesn't buy anything, you're like, yes, someone came. And so
Yeah.
I do think there is something about just doing it anyway. And even if
Yeah.
you're having the bad thoughts and even if whatever, just getting it out there. And Beth said the same thing like, okay, well, just like you said, there's got to be the first time. There's got to be the first time someone doesn't show up. There's got to be the first time I try it and, I learn from it. And I'm sure
Yeah.
people will come. You have your loyal customers that will come. But even if,
Hmm.
what will happen? So I
Yeah.
think it's always good just to do it. But Beth,
Thank you.
Beth will help you. She told me, she said, I will come to Wendy's house and I will help her.
Oh, you're sweet. Thank
Most
you.
definitely, I will. I
Thank you
will.
so
And
much.
just look at it this way. If nobody does come or anything like that, look at it this way. You were obedient to what God put on your heart. And
Hmm.
this was a trial run,
Yeah.
you
That's
know.
true.
So you
Thank
do
you.
what God tells you to do, and He's going to bless it, whether you see it or whether you don't see it. He's going to bless it and bless you
Thank you
for
so
your
much.
effort in being obedient.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, do you guys, Sadie, do you have the Power of Five book?
Uh-uh.
Okay. Wendy and Beth both have it. You don't have to have it.
Yeah, I
Um,
have it.
but Kristen is doing the book club. So she's just posting it on her Facebook page. And Wendy, before you hopped on, I was saying like, I've watched like one or two of the videos, but I just today caught up in the car because I was in the car for an hour. And I hadn't even finished the reading yet. I just was watching her videos because I'm reading 3 books and I'm running around like a crazy person. We all are doing crazy stuff. So I just really thought it would be good on here if we just talked about a couple of these points. So I'm going to go through the growth chapter, which is chapter 1 in here.
Mhm.
And I just really feel like this correlates to just kind of our unit motto right now of like building our best. And John wrote this book for network marketing. So a lot of it is correlated to our Mary Kay business. But you guys, as we are building our best and like just trying to be better human beings and better single people and better girlfriends and better moms and better wives and all of that, I think it correlates so much because you guys know like when you grow as a person it ripples into every aspect. It's not just your business, or it doesn't matter what you're doing in your business. Like when you grow as a person you're better. And
Mhm.
so this is I like have just underlined everything in here because it's so good and so much of it does correlate. So he in the introduction, you guys, if you don't have this book you can order it. I'll post the link. I think Kristen sent it out too, but this month for October it's like $12. And when you buy it this month, John is giving $1 to our Mary Kay Foundation. So for the month of October. So I think that's really awesome. It's a good book. It's an easy read. The introduction really talks about like 10 reasons why you should do network marketing. And it's really good. And it's like all the reasons we do Mary Kay, like, you know, providing options for your life, starting on a level playing field, getting to earn money while you learn, increasing your influence, making you a better person, like all the reasons we said yes and are still here 1 to 5 years later, you know? And then he goes into the 5 things that really are the key factors of network marketing. So the first one is growth. And as you know, in like normal life, and we all individually have had this conversation, but kind of in normal life and in normal jobs, like people don't talk about growing. People don't talk about personal development. People just wake up, live their life, go to work, come home, cook dinner, go to bed. Wake up, go to work, come home, you know, and there's no growth or no goals or no progression. Now, all of us on this call, we do strive, right, to provide better for our families and to move up in our jobs and to move out and to be a better wife. Like we have that, but most people aren't in an environment where that is cultivated and they are taught that that's okay. And of course, in Mary Kay, I even had a conversation with Sydney the other day, and she's like, Mary Kay has really just helped me dream again. And I'm like, isn't that what we do? Is just like open our eyes again and figure out how we can grow and be better to better our lives and dream for bigger things. So he says the biggest thing in growth is you have to grow yourself first to be able to grow into these roles, whether that's your business or your relationships or your church or whatever. And he said the hardest thing is really personal growth is a silent investment. So most people aren't going to see it. You're not going to be getting recognition for it. No one is going to know that you're even focusing on it except you. Until everybody knows because you're different. And so it will show up in who you become and what you end up doing because you're putting in the work. So Mary Kay is so good, right? Because it teaches us, it has a passion to develop us as better human beings. Again, just like most jobs don't. So then he gives a lot of these, there's like 10 things. So I don't know if I'm going to talk about all these because it's a lot and you can get the book and you're smart and you can read it. Okay. But he said the biggest thing about a growth environment, and there's always people ahead of you. So if you're like the biggest fish in the room, you know, you want to be around bigger thinkers, better wives, stronger Christians, better people so that you know where you're going. And same thing like with our meetings, you want to show up to go up. So you have to show up in these different areas where you're not number one so that you can learn from the wisdom in the room so you can grow and be better. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Very much.
And just like Mary Kay Ash, just like the Bible, like you are the 5 people you hang around. So John always says you want to make a list of those 5 people. So of course that's going to be like our husband, you know, our boyfriend, our mom, but those 5 people you spend the most time with. And then you could do an exercise and you could put a positive. Do they add value to your life? A negative? Do they kind of suck the value out? Do they drain you? Or an in, a neutral, like you don't really add to them, they don't really add to you, they're just kind of there. And you want to kind of cultivate this list of thinking who you can be in the space of to be better and to grow in these different roles that you want to grow in. And so I'm even thinking of that, like, okay, as a Cadillac director, which is what I want to be, who am I hanging around that drives a Cadillac? Nobody, you know? And as we're growing up, you guys just even know this too, of like when you get married or you're like really in a serious relationship, all your catty friends who are talking about their boyfriends and their husbands, and like you kind of don't want to hang out with them anymore because you're trying to invest in your future and like have a solid relationship, right? So it's the same idea. Bigger people make better people. So you want to be hanging around bigger and better people.
What page are you? I'm sorry.
Oh, this is on 19.
Okay, sorry.
And this is kind of Danielle's remix of it. So number 2, he said you're continually challenged. And so all of us love a good challenge. I think And he says everything uphill, everything worthwhile is uphill, which sucks because we want things to be easy and we want to just coast. But it is true in any goal, in saving money, in losing weight, in working out, it's not going to come easy. It's going to come with intention. He said no one has ever accidentally achieved anything. You're like, well, that's probably true. No one accidentally loses 50 pounds, right? Wouldn't that be nice? No one accidentally runs a half marathon. But he says you climb to grow. And the climb is the journey which makes you better. I will never forget my very first seminar as a director. I got invited to the director day. I was so scared, y'all. I was shaking. I was like, I do not belong in this room with these top people, you know? And Lindsay Christensen, who's a Cadillac director in our area, she said, like, the journey is the climb to the mountain. It's not the achievements at the top of the mountain. It's the journey of who you become. And like, as a brand new little old director, 23 years old, who knew nothing about life, like, I didn't understand that, but it's so true of like, the journey is what makes you, and the climb is where you grow. It's not the top. It's not the achievement. It's not the result at the end. It is truly the climb. But everything is better at the top of that mountain, of that growth journey. So your relationships you're working on, your health, your financial stability, your business, it's all going to be better and sweeter at the top. It just is. He said, number 3 is your focus is forward. So when you're thinking of growth, you can't be looking behind you. You can't really be comparing to yourself 2 years ago. That's what we do, right? Gosh, when I was 25, I was so skinny. No, girl, that was a long time ago. You'd had a baby since then. Like, that doesn't count, okay? Gosh, when we were in college, Didier loved me so much, and he left me all these notes, you know. Okay, well, we didn't have any problems then, and we didn't have to pay for anything, and we were little old teenagers who thought we knew a lot about life, you know. And so you really have to keep your blinders on and just focus on like day by day. You can't be comparing your relationship or your stability or your whatever to anybody else. You got to keep your blinders on, and that's like between you and the Lord. Okay, you're just going forward of what you know you're supposed to be doing. He said, if you are not leaving something, you're going to something. So whatever's behind you is behind you. And you can't think of it as like, oh, I'm leaving all this stuff. Like, the better is behind me. No, the better is always forward. You're going somewhere, and you're going to be adding value to more people because you're growing and you're moving forward. With this, and this is the hard part, this even when I listened, I was like, ugh, you have to keep control of your schedule. So in growing in any aspect that you're growing in, you have to say no to the good so that you can say yes to the best. And I really feel like as we move up in our business, or as we're on this growth journey towards being a stronger Christian or a better wife, or being more intentional about who we spend time with, your schedule is the thing that you have to guard the most, because you might want to see that old friend because you want to be nice, but she drains you and you emotionally can't handle being around her because she puts you in a bad space. You might feel obligated to say yes to all of these things that you know are not going to progress you into your goals and are not really going to be adding value to where you want to go. And so you have to really think about what your priorities are. So for me, of course, Didier is my number one priority. My husband is going to come first. Right now is spending time with my dad. It's my church stuff. It's you guys. It's my personal business. If it's not any of those, so whatever your values are, spending time with your kids, you know, spending time with your best friend, whatever that is. But if you don't know your values and your priorities, you can't be growing towards them. So I would say the key is to figure that out of what you want those top couple things to be. And maybe it's your health, or maybe it's your finances, or maybe it's whatever those topics are, but then you can feel okay saying no to other things in this season. It's not forever. You're not saying no forever. It's just so you can focus on whatever you're focusing on right now. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And in that, we feel bad saying no, but you have to remember that you began this journey of growth towards whatever you're going towards to improve your life and those around you. So it's not like you're saying no just to be malicious or to be mean or, you know, it's because you have a bigger picture in mind and you know you're going somewhere else. He said the next part about growth is the atmosphere is affirming, which is why we all love Mary Kay, because we clap for each other, we affirm each other, we believe in each other. Number 5, he gets you it when you're growing, you have to get out of your comfort zone, which sucks and it hurts and it's so awkward and you're gonna fumble around like a little kid who doesn't know how to walk, but that's where the growth is. That's where the growth is. Number 6, he says you wake up excited when you're growing because you know you're getting better and you're blessing more people. And this is where the momentum is. So in this, he talks about momentum, which is so good. And so I think about this a lot in our business of like, in the beginning, we're so pumped, right? We're asking everybody, and the momentum is growing because she's saying yes, and then I'm getting a referral, and then she's saying yes. And then for whatever reason, we stop. And then the next month, we're excited again, and she said yes, and she said yes, and she said no, but we don't even care, so she said yes, and then we stop. And it's like we're always like starting and stopping and starting and stopping. But if we would just be consistent, then the momentum like rolls into each other, and that's where it gets really exciting and really fun. And we've all experienced that, but for whatever reason, sometimes we have to stop. But it's jumping back into the momentum. And just like if you're like financial peace, so Dave Ramsey, right? You pay off one bill and then you take that money and you roll it over to the other bill, and then you pay that off and you take that money and you roll it over. It's just momentum, right? When you're hanging out with positive people, you want to spend time with them all the time. It's just the momentum of like joy and happiness and excitement and growth that comes with that. So it's the same idea. Number 7, he says, failure is your friend, which doesn't feel like a friend, does it? When you fail at something, it hurts. You get prickles from it. It feels bad. But he said your perspective on failure determines whether failure becomes your enemy or your friend. Sadie's making a weird face. Isn't that interesting? Failure, you get to decide whether failure becomes your friend or your enemy. So like in Mary Kay, if someone says no to us, that could be considered a failure. Like some people, right, they stop. They're like, everybody said no. But the successful people say, okay, well, at least she said no and I know, so now I can go find a yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the perspective of the no. But in anything, in ending a relationship, in figuring out how to manage your money, in the new diet that didn't work, in that exercise program that you hated, whatever it is, when you go through something and it could be considered a failure, the best question to ask is, what did I learn from this? So any situation in life, we get handed all kinds of crazy stuff, don't we? All of us have been given crazy cards and things that we've gone through that we wish we didn't, that all could have knocked us down and we could be just like depressed and sleeping in our bed for days, right? But some people do that, don't they? They get dealt a hand and they literally stay in their bed and they cry for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. But we're all here trying to grow, trying to invest in ourselves. And it's just that different perspective of, okay, what can I learn from this? This sucks. She said no. I'm not losing the weight. My health is bad, whatever it is. But what did I learn? And how can I move forward with that? And I think with the failure is just like going back to when a kid starts walking, it's new, right? When you start a new workout plan, when you start trying to manage your money, when you're trying to be a better person, when you're trying to go to church, when you're trying to grow a business, in the beginning, if we would just like believe that we're going to suck, right? And we just accept that it might not be great, but that we can grow into it, it's going to be better. But when a kid starts walking, he takes a first step and he falls, right? And we get so excited. He took a step, right? And then he takes 2 steps and then he falls. And we don't ever say, oh my God, you're terrible at walking. Why did you do that? You suck. You're never going to be able to walk again. Right? No, we're like, yes, he took 2 steps. He fell every single time, but he took 2 steps. And it should be just like that anytime we try something new where we know we might be bad at it in the beginning because we don't know how to walk. But you learn how to walk. You learn how to walk. You learn how to manage your money. You learn how to follow the process, and it's the same exact thing. So don't think of it as failure. Think about how can I learn from this and continue along the process to be better. Growth. This is good too. When others are growing. So you know you're in a good growth environment when others are growing around you. And this is hard because this is where sometimes you have to cut the ties. Sometimes we love our family and our friends and our people around us, but sometimes when we are trying to grow and go somewhere new, Cora, it's just Cora here. Hello. When you're growing, they get uncomfortable. Ow. Because they don't want to grow with us. And they don't want us to leave them. They want us to stay on their level, which is not bad. Everybody has different levels, right? But if you're trying to really be a good wife, a good Christian, a good money manager, or whatever, and they're maybe not focusing on that, they might be talking bad about their husband or trying to skip church or trying to spend money on dumb things that you don't want to spend your money on. And so when you are in your growth journey, you kind of have to be cautious of that too, because they might not be growing with you. And John said he quickly discovered that growth is the great separator between those who succeed and those who do not. So again, it's kind of that good, better, best analogy where they could be great people. They could be good. They could be good people. But if you're trying to be great and get to the top of whatever you're trying to grow in, you might have to leave them a little bit. And then the last thing he said is like growth is modeled and expected. So I know you guys sometimes get so irritated with me because I'm like trying to motivate and remind you of your goals and all of that, which then we have conversations about and we grow with. But we kind of get uncomfortable too, right? When someone is expecting us to grow, when they're trying to speak that into us and they're trying to make us better, but it's all out of love. It's all out of love. So, and he said, it will all be thanks to your choice to grow as a person when you succeed. It won't always be easy. It won't always be fun, but it will always produce a return in your investment. And it will always make you a better person in the end. So good. So good. And then at the end of each chapter, this is interesting, he does an exercise. And it's called ACT, A-C-T. He says he's used this exercise for 30 years, so longer than I have been alive. He says the A stands for apply, the C stands for change, and the T stands for teach. So thinking in the topic of growth, he says, what is the most important lesson I need to apply to myself in this chapter on growth? What's the most important lesson I need to apply to myself? The change is, what is the most important thing I need to change in my life about growth? And then T is, what is the most important thing I need to teach others about growth? So I don't know how you really answer those questions. I'm like, okay, reading and comprehension is really not my thing. Math and science were my wheelhouse. So I read through these. I'm like, I don't even know how to answer this. So what is the most important lesson I need to apply to myself on growth? Anybody have an answer to help me?
Maybe it's one of those 10 things that he was saying, like
Like getting
Like
out of
remember, the
your
failure
comfort
is your friend, or that if
zone. Okay.
growing is out of your comfort zone. Like maybe it's
Okay.
maybe it's like which one of those you have to apply the most. I don't know.
That probably is the correct answer.
I
Okay.
feel like from that, my answer will be um, grow is out of my comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
because and understanding that it's uphill, because I do always um, not want to quit doing certain things right now to be able to do them in the future. I just want to live the present right now instead of thinking about the future. I'm like, no, this is right now what I'm gonna do,
Yeah.
and that. But then later, I'm like, oh man, I should have done this other thing because I'm still stressing about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense at all, but
That does make sense.
yeah.
Hmm. It does.
Okay.
Let's see. Second question. What is the most important thing I need to change? So I guess this would be like for me, I'm like, okay, I need to maybe get some new friends that are
Mm.
in bigger places than me. And that doesn't have to be in your business. Like you could still have successful friends outside of Mary Kay that are pushing you in Mary Kay, but figuring out that circle.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I talk a lot, but I I always say this. I've told Sydney and I told
Well, and you're talking about things
Sarah.
to change. I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Oh, all I was going to say is when you were talking about what's the most important thing to change that I need to change, you know, that's something that's more, you can go with the 10 steps that he gave you, but that's also something that goes a lot deeper. Like for myself, I need to change how I talk to myself, because when I started the open house, the first thing I thought of is nobody's going to come. And, I need to change the way that I talk to myself. So, even though that's not really in the 10 steps, but sometimes I think that would need to go deeper because it's more of an internal thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What were you saying, Wendy?
Oh, I was just gonna say that being in the like you said, being surrounded with people that are succeeding, not necessarily just in our business, but um, it can mean something else, and also the atmosphere of affirming, like people that is always like affirming and positive, and like and I just wanted to say that I hear this girl named Nicole Walters, and I just like her, and I know I don't get paid to sponsor her, but I tell everybody about her because she's really cool. And if you ever want to hear her
Yeah.
podcast or speeches, she's a believer, and I love that she brings God to her uh, entrepreneur coaching speeches. So
Mhm.
if you ever want to hear her, it's pretty cool. Sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. Because I think it is so important that when we're thinking of like the positivity and like what we're hearing, when we listen to other women or other men that are outside of Mary Kay, I think that even like ripples quicker or better. I don't know. For me, I'm like, okay, but you've been in Mary Kay for 25 years, like I just want to be a better person. I don't want my life to be all about Mary Kay. And so I feel like I do better taking lessons from other entrepreneurs and other Christians and other women. And maybe that's just because I'm rebellious and I like headbutt everything. I don't know. But when I found some podcasts like Rachel Hollis and Annie F.
Mm-hmm.
Downs and other people who were successful outside of Mary Kay, being good humans, serving people just like I wanted to, like Mary Kay for me is an avenue. It is not my whole life. And when I found other women who were using their platform as an avenue, not as their whole life, that it really changed my heart.
Mm-hmm.
It really changed how I worked and stuff.
True.
I'll post, when I post this video, I'll post her link under it so we can link to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is the most important thing I need to teach others? He adds that in there because he says when you learn something, it's different when you hear it, it's different when you read it, it's different when you apply it, and then when you teach it to someone else. So I can take in all this information and I can even apply it to my life and make changes. But when I can regurgitate it and teach it to someone else for them to implement, it makes it so much deeper in our brains and our hearts and in our souls. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I think it is like passing on to others of like affirming and making sure you're being surrounded by the right types of people. Because I think that's really where women get sticky, is because they just want to be nice, or we just want to keep having our friends that we've always been having, and we don't just stick up for what we know that we need sometimes. I don't. That's something I'm working on. Well, did you guys love this? I took a completely different spin, not Mary Kay related at all, but I am really enjoying this book. So I talked a lot about different stuff than what Kristen did. So even if you want to dig deeper and watch her video, it's there. But next week, I'll go over the second power, which is connection.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know all of us, like watching this video, we just love connections with people. And that's probably why we're still in Mary Kay. Like, even if we made $0, I would stay in Mary Kay to make sure I was still connected to the three of you. But that's all I have for tonight.
Yay.
You guys have any questions? Anything you want to add? Any wins for the week we want to talk about?
I didn't reach my goal. I'm sad about the lotions. I did meet exactly the residents. I wanted to have extras so I could hand them to the workers there, but I didn't. So, but I did meet exactly for the residents. So I am ordering them this week. I need to do it. I'll get the last $30 from a lady tomorrow, and that will cover 15 residents.
Yeah,
So,
love it. I'm so excited.
yes, I'm excited. I did the adopt a grandparent, but the males, for the male residents, I'm just giving them a hand lotion instead of the feet because I know that they will get. One time we did it and they were like, "Why are you giving me roses? I'm not a female." I was like, oh, "Okay," so I'm just gonna give them a hand lotion.
Yeah, sweet.
So, yeah.
Beth, Sadie, anything you want to share? Okay.
Sadie, are you in your new house?
Yeah, this is my sunroom.
Yay!
Awesome.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Come over. We'll have a party.
Yes, we
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the star party is, let me tell you, when you're a star this quarter, which doesn't end until December 15th, we are having a party on Friday, December 20th. Save the date.
Yay.
It's a mystery. You won't know until you become a star what the funness is. But it's a couple directors. We're all doing something super fun together. So when you become a star by then, you'll get all the information. But I love you guys. Thanks for coming on live and hanging out with me. And those of you watching the playback, you're not as cool. Just joking. Just joking. So glad you guys watched the playback. Okay, I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Have a good week.
Love you. Bye.